Hey Inspirators, it's Inspiring Vanessa here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to 2022. I am still very much stuck in 2021. I still haven't actually processed the fact that I'm going to have to write 2022 in my school books as the date instead of 2021. But moving on, I do these videos at the end of each year, kind of like a recap and an overview and a reflection of the past year. So I'm filming this in 2022, but this video is about 2021, obviously. I just thought this is a great way to document what's happened in the past year, because I feel like we always focus on like the past 5 months and then the rest of it is kind of a blur. So when you kind of write down everything that you've done or everything that you've achieved, it's quite comforting and you feel proud of yourself because you kind of forget that you've done a lot in the year, whether it's emotional, like an emotional journey, or you've actually done something that's brought you to the next level. Whatever it is, just to have a reflection and see what you've done and what you've learned, I think is really important. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Just to clarify, I have everything written down here, so I'm going to be looking down at my computer just in case I don't miss anything. I mean, I feel like I probably did miss some bits, but overall I think I got the main things for each month. So let's just get straight into January. I don't know if it was just for me, but I feel like January of 2020, it feels so weird to say last year, but January of 2021 felt quite slow. I don't know why. I feel like it's kind of like that in the first few months of the year until it gets to spring. I think sometimes January and February are kind of slow and nothing really happens. It's sort of like a transition period for us to process that we're into the new year, and then I feel like May, April we actually start doing something. However, in January the Step Back trailer was actually released, and I did like an Instagram live, I think, of me reacting to the trailer for the first time as well, which was really fun, and that was kind of like the first sneak peek for everyone to see what we had filmed in October 2020, which was really exciting. And also in January I did my first interview of the year of 2021 with the Influential Women podcast. That was a really fun interview actually, and I will try and put links for everything I'm talking about in this video in the description. I mean, I think most of the things that I'm talking about are probably linked to some sort of video I have on my channel. So I buttons only have a limit. I think it only goes up to 5, but the rest of it I would try and put the links to all the videos that I mention in the description box, just so that it makes more sense. Then moving on to February, Step Back was officially released. It was released on the 6th, and we actually got 100,000 views in one day, I believe, or in 24 hours of it being released, which is still very insane to me. It's almost at 2 million views now, almost a year later. It's going to be a year next month, which just feels insane because I feel like it came out yesterday pretty much. I feel like we filmed it yesterday. Then later in the month I actually did a virtual speaking gig. It was a virtual seminar about social media for New Vision's high school in New York City, which is based in Queens, and whenever I get to do virtual speaking engagements, it just feels so surreal because it's the fact that you get to use technology obviously to share and speak to people all around the world internationally. Even if you're not there in person, it still shows that you're making that impact, which I'll forever be grateful for. So then moving on to March, speaking of virtual international speaking engagements, a big thank you to the Teen Summit seminar, which is run by Keisha. I did a virtual seminar for 500 girls based in Qatar in a school, and I would never have thought I'd have the opportunity to do that and to speak on that platform. I'm not just saying it for the case of the video or just because. I am genuinely saying this from my heart. It was probably one of my favourite seminars that I've done, not just from the year but like overall over my career. I think it was just so fulfilling. It was also kind of like a Q&A as well, so hearing their questions to me and having that conversation was just so uplifting, and I will always remember that. I mean, I think it gave me a massive serotonin booster, so I will always be very thankful and will always remember that because it was just a surreal experience. And I was also part of a filming for a music video for AB Hammerville. I will put the link to the music video in the I button in the corner. The music video turned out amazing. It was so much fun to film because there was a bunch of us. It's kind of based in like a school classroom, so it was a lot of like teenagers and kids basically a part of the filming for this. And I just think the message behind it is brilliant, so please go watch it. You can probably spot me in there for a split second, but please go check it out because it is brilliant. Then moving on to April, I celebrated my 5th year anniversary of doing speaking, social media, YouTube, the whole shebang basically. I still can't believe that this year it will be 6 years that I've been doing all of this. It's very, very weird because I remember the first time I ever spoke on stage and now it's 6 years. What? In April, I did my first ever press panel with the female lead, and they have been so amazing throughout this year because I've gained so many opportunities from them, and I will always be very thankful for that. I did a press panel for Disney's Raya and the Last Dragon. Please watch the film. It's so good. The colours, the music, everything is just so nice to watch. The press panels usually consist of people who work behind the film or worked in the pre-production of the film, so the directors, the producers, the animators, the designers, the whole team behind the film, which I usually find equally as fascinating to listen to rather than like the cast of the film or in the movie. So being a part of these press panels and listening to the way their minds work to create such masterpieces blows my mind, and it's always such an eye-opening experience because you never hear the same thing, you always learn something new every time you listen in. And in April I did my interview with David Williams for the Gangster Granny ride at Alton Towers. This interview was so much fun to film. I will always just be very thankful that I was spotted to do the interview and that people saw the potential in me to carry it out. So moving on to May, I did a virtual speaking engagement / collaboration with the Islington Council about changing the narrative and opening up the conversation about anti-racism. I feel like the conversation was very necessary, and I'm very glad that I did it. I did another virtual speaking engagement which was with We Are Beyond, and it was a panel along with me and some other guests all about social media safety. And then finally in May, I collaborated with Children's Salon and Woke Babies for an interview with Trish Cook for a segment of the Book Corner, which was so much fun to film and so much fun to do because it was just really eye-opening to hear about how she created the stories and about her representation. Moving on to June, I did another press panel which was for Disney's Cruella. I absolutely love the film. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend to go and watch it. The conversation was with Nadia Stacey, and she was the makeup artist who was working on Cruella, and just hearing how they had to make the looks and the process of making them was so interesting to hear. So I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to speak to her because her mind is just fabulous. In June, I also did a partnership with Rainbow High Academy, and I think my biggest highlight, or one of my main highlights of this year, was becoming a Diana Award recipient of 2021. Moving on to the next month, which is July, of course, I did an article for Sophia Leah magazine. It was an article all about mental health, which is really fun to write, and I'm very thankful that she gave me the opportunity to speak about that on her platform and in the magazine. I did another press panel which was for Marvel's Loki. I got to ask some questions to the director of Loki, which is Kate Herron, and it was very exciting to hear about how they made the show and the process of making it while also using those comic references and just forming the whole show, because when you watch it, it's brilliant visually, but when you hear like even more in depth about it, it just makes it better to watch. Then in July, I did a press junket for Black Widow where I got to interview Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh. I was so excited on this day. I literally had a Black Widow costume on, and I was just over the moon that I had the opportunity to speak to them. I was very scared. Of course, I think anyone would be quite nervous to do so, but once we got into it, it was very exciting, and I will forever hold that dear to my heart. I feel like a lot happened in July. I did a shoot for Anglo American. I did some steals for them. I got to pretend playing guitar, which was very fun. So I did some shoots for them, which was so exciting. And then we went to our first ever event since lockdown, which was the multimedia screening for Jungle Cruise. And I will never forget that day because I felt like a baddie. Okay? I felt like a baddie with my ponytail and my fit. It was a vibe. It was the comeback. Then moving on to August, which is my birthday month, I delivered a speech for the Sister to Sister program online, which was so much fun. I turned 15 years old, and I'm trying not to remind myself that I'm turning 16 this year. And in August, I also went to Tenerife with my mum. And I also did vlog my holiday to Tenerife, so that vlog will be in the I button in the corner. Then September came around, and I feel like September was one of the busiest months of my year. I ended up having to make a full-on schedule, like a calendar on my phone, a digital calendar on my phone, just to keep track of everything that was happening, because there were so many events that were going on in that month. Right in the beginning of September, I had my magical moment on the red carpet for the Cinderella premiere here in London, and I wore this massive grey dress, and it was just bougie. I actually did film a get ready with me video when I was getting ready for that premiere, so if you haven't seen that video already, it'll be in the I button in the corner. In September was also Top Fest, which was so much fun because the last convention we had was way before lockdown, so it was so nice to see all of my favourite people and reunite with everyone after so long. I attended the multimedia screening for Netflix's My Little Pony. Now in September there was this whole like busy week of event after event, so I did a week in my life video to put it all into one, so it was easier to put together and to film and to also watch.
The aesthetic I wanted for this film, and so getting to listen to Jennifer sing every single one of those songs live, getting, you know, Audra McDonald sang her songs live, Titus Burgess sang live, everybody sang and played live on set, and as a music lover, that was just a dream come true.
I mean, the atmosphere must have been incredible, must have been speechless after each.
Finally, moving September out of the way, we have October. I was featured in a podcast episode with Daniel. It was such a fun interview. I definitely put his Instagram right here on the screen because he's such a great person. I became an ambassador for World Jenny's Day, which was so special because their message most definitely aligns with what I believe in as well. So go check out the World Jenny's Day website and also their YouTube channel so you can find out more about what it actually is. I would definitely say that my highlight of October was the BFI London Film Festival. I went to 2 premieres, which was with BFI. One was the Ron's Gone Wrong premiere, and the other one was the King Richard premiere. I would never have in a million years thought I'd be able to attend the London Film Festival, so I will always hold that memory very close. I filmed another music video, which was for Sarah Proctor, and it was her Not For Me music video. I highly recommend you go and watch it because the song one is great and the visuals in the music video is also amazing, so please go watch it and go give her some support. And then finally in October I was invited to MCM Comic Con, where I actually got to see Tom Hiddleston and the cast of Loki. My limit for eye buttons is probably up by now when I'm editing this, so I will put the MCM Comic Con vlog in the description down below. Then moving on to November, I actually worked with Dentsu. I cannot say anything else, but you guys will have to stay tuned and see what's coming soon. In November, I also got to finally meet David Walliams in person at one of his book signings for Gangster Granny the sequel. I attended the multimedia screening for Encanto, which is also another brilliant Disney film you have to go watch. I was invited to Hogwarts in the Snow at the Warner Bros. Harry Potter Studios, and I cannot tell you how much I loved going there. I'd never been before, it was my first time. The fact that it was all Christmas themed was a dream come true. Then in November was SITSI, Social in the City, and I actually got to go there as a creator and a presenter for the panels, which I had never done before. It was my first time going there as a creator, which alone was a very big achievement, and the fact that I got to moderate some of the panels there and speak to some of the creators and open up that different conversation was also very exciting. Then finally, the 12th month of the year, December, I went to a multimedia screening for Clifford the Big Red Dog. My press junket interview with Regina King came out, and this was the press junket for The Harder They Fall. Even if you aren't a fan of westerns, just trust me on this and watch it because I feel like it's a whole new take on the western genre, and having that conversation with Regina King all about representation in different genres and about her character in the film was just so lovely and fulfilling. And then towards the end of December, I went to Prague with my mum to see my family, and we celebrated Christmas there with them, which was so lovely. So that was my 2021. I can't wait to see what 2022 will hold. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Make sure to smash that like button and also subscribe. We are trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I keep writing it as my New Year's resolution, and we haven't gotten to it yet. You always say yet. So hopefully this year might be the year that we hit that milestone. So make sure to subscribe and please share my channel to your friends and family, or anyone who you think would hopefully enjoy my videos. Make sure to comment down below what your highlight of 2021 was, or what your biggest lesson was of 2021. So without further ado, I'm wishing you all an amazing year ahead for all of us, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Happy New Year!